Hey drummers, hope you're well. Right, single stroke roll with accents. For me, this is one of the big ones in the whole of playing the drums. Man, especially when you're thinking in terms of drum fills and maybe like soloistic type moments, but not necessarily just that, it could be anything. This is huge for me, right at the heart of playing the drums, and one of those things that for me, I just come back to again and again and again, and for so many of the drummers that I'm lucky enough to work with and teach, and the channel members that I work with on a regular basis, this is part of the stuff that we look at and we work on a regular basis. This is just all time as far as I'm concerned. This is the age-old concept of playing a single stroke roll, which is like the first thing you learn in your first ever drum lesson at the start, is if you have lessons with me anyway. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, if you're right-handed, or left, right, if you're left-handed. In this example, we're thinking of it as 16th notes or semiquavers, 4 hits on each beat. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a right, left, 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 right, left. And the thing here, the big physical skill we're developing here is that ability to place accents, as in just play some of those rights and lefts louder than the notes around them, to give your roll musical shape, to make a musical phrase, or to just make things more interesting in some interesting, exciting, creative way. What we're going to do here is just really work on the core physical skills. There's so many moments, I think, in like classic drumming throughout the ages that lean on this one basic sort of physical skill. Things like people talk about wipeout all the time. People talk about the Bo Diddley beat. Some of the examples I was sort of playing through there, things like a soca, single stroke soca, which I made a video about before. You can do this with a samba, a single stroke samba. There's in grade 6, people ask me about this all the time. Trinity Rock and Pop grade 6, there's a song called Misery Business, Paramore, amazing song. It's got a mid section which I was playing just now, which goes. That kind of feel. And if you've ever played any like rock music, especially faster rock, pop punk, Blink 182 type of music, man, as you'll no doubt know, it's littered with examples of this. So again, we're talking about single stroke roll. In this case, it's not for all time, but in this case, the most classic version as 16th notes. And this is, I think, the all-time classic drill to begin building up those skills. What often happens with that moment at grade 6, or with Wipeout, or with the Bo Diddley play within single strokes, or any of the other examples of this thing throughout the ages, is people, or Ballroom Blitz. I should have said, by the way, shout out to channel member David, who had his session today. He inspired this video. So he was looking at Ballroom Blitz, of course, by The Sweet. It's something like that, isn't it? So that one is relatively simple in terms of the accents that you're playing, but we shouldn't underestimate it when we start. There's loads of things that go on here, but like I say, this is the all-time classic drill for building up those skills. So often people start with the grooves, and so often the answer to the question, how do I get to that point as quickly and efficiently as possible, is working on drills like this, simple accent pattern drills. Here's the basic drill. Today, we're going to do this with the bass drum in place on the quarter note. If you aren't sort of ready to do that yet, or when you try to do that, you realise you're not there with that, that's cool. Leave the bass drum out and get your hands firing a bit first. Get to the point where you can trust your hands to play it before then adding the bass drum in. But we're going to put the bass drum in here on the quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 4. So your bass drum, your kick drum, is going to play on the quarter note or on the crotchet, on the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now in every example here, 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, your sticks, and I can't say this enough times because I know people get confused about this, and I would have done because of the different sounds that come out when this happens, is always a single stroke roll, and throughout all of these examples never changes. So right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. As 16ths, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. That is always going to be like that. There are no times when there's a double stroke. There is no times when that pattern changes. So here we're coming at it from a nice basic angle, single stroke roll all the way throughout the bar, 16th notes. Now what we're going to do in this basic drill is practice and get the feel for accenting each of the possible notes within a set of 16ths in turn. And we're going to do it once on every beat. So the first example would be accenting on the beat. This would be with your right stick, if you're right-handed, as you say the numbers. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... For everybody, pretty much. That's the one we often find most instinctive and we have most familiarity with if we've just sort of started playing, a single stroke roll accenting on the beat. Now the next position is going to be on the E. If you're right-handed and playing right, left, 1 E and this accent, this emphasized note is going to be with your left stick. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 2 E and you get it? E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and now here's what you're going to say. If you haven't done this before, you're going to say, "Oh, I find the left stick's way more tricky." Yeah, no. So does everybody. Like you got to if you're right-handed, you're going to find the left hand more tricky. Like that isn't a surprise. Doesn't mean something wrong with you. It doesn't mean you're quote unquote struggling. It just means you're right-handed. That's cool, man. It will take more time. It did for me. I've been playing the drums for almost 30 years. I still find the left hand more difficult, and that's it. That's cool. It's fine, man. Just take your time, build it up. You're going to have. I always think play the unaccented notes, especially when you're going slow here, as softly as you can. You're looking for a nice clean hit on the drum, but as quiet as you can play, but still playing cleanly. And then the accent is going to be a whipping type of stroke. You whip that stick through for a nice, relaxed sort of sense of throwing to give you that accent. Here it is again on the E. The accent will be with the left stick. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and that will definitely be more difficult at first than the right hand accents. At first is the word there. You just build on it. It'll come, man. Be patient, be persistent, keep going. You can expect it to take a bit longer, but that's cool. You'll need that left stick, so work on it. Obviously, if you're left-handed and you're playing a left-handed setup, your roll will be left, right, left, right. The accent on the beat will be with your left. In that case, the accent on the E will be with your right. I'm going to assume right-handedness here. Next up, we're on the and of beat 1, or and of all the beats, in fact. This is back on the right stick. So now we're accenting the third note of 4, the and. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and that also doubles up as what we often call the train beat, right? Bit like in the Ballroom Blitz groove I was playing earlier. Super useful groove. That's with your right stick. And then finally, you guessed it, we're going to be on the here at the end, which will be back on your left stick for a right-hander. 1 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E. 3 E and 4 E and again, whether you're right or left-handed, that's going to be on your so-called weaker hand. That will be more difficult, almost certainly, was for me anyway, will be more difficult for a period of time at first. Persevere, keep going, stay patient, be consistent, be persistent. It'll come good. Start slow. Always think, show your brain, your hands and your feet working together, the combinations, show them the movements before you start trying to perform it. This is just a physical skill builder drill. Go slow. Just let your nervous system see these events happening. I'll recap. First of all, the first accent is going to be on the beat with the right stick if you're right-handed. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and the next one's going to be on the E with your left stick if you're right-handed. Here it comes. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 3 E and 4. Now on the and 1 E and back on the right stick if you're right-handed. 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and now on the 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and on the left stick if you're right-handed. 1 E and 2 E and can't say these two things enough times. Go as slow as you like. Slower is better when you start, and make the dynamic contrast, basically, I was thinking, make it larger than life, especially when you're going slow. The little ghosted notes or unaccented notes, as quiet as you can for me, and still playing cleanly, versus that big whip for the accent. That's your basic skill builder. On the beat, on the E, on the and, on the Take your time and build it, build it, build it. That's the basic drill. When you get some level of comfort going with that, I'd say with the bass drum involved, you can then turn to just working up some classic accent patterns. So I tend to think of the ones we tend to use in my teaching on the Bo Diddley, first Bo Diddley, single stroke samba, single stroke soca, suku, wipeout, a ballroom blitz, that bit from Misery Business, and several others as well. But like some of those, so I'll link to some of those below. But this is the basic skill builder, and this takes time, it takes repetition. But this is the stuff. And when people say, "Oh, I'm trying to play this bit from Misery Business," or "I'm trying to play that," and people say, "Oh, I don't know why, but my bass drum is going with the accented notes," it's because you haven't spent time yet working, in my opinion, from my perspective. You haven't spent the time to go through drills such as this and to train your hands and feet to play these patterns. This is such a killer drill. You can also do it anywhere, even if you're away from drums, just with your hands and your feet, right? For the coordination side of it, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a. In this case, I can't repeat it enough times, it's always single stroke roll, 1 E and a 2 E and a. It is possible to play these accent patterns with other sticking, but that's not what we're doing in this exercise. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. In this exercise, we're looking to build up and cultivate and develop basic physical facility with that single stroke roll with the accents in there. From there, like I say, you then start to build up patterns. For example, Bo Diddley. Which itself might be a gradual process from there. You might add in one accent at a time as you repeat, as you build it. But that basic drill of playing on the one, accenting on the one, or on the beat, on the E, on the and on the is as far as I see it, the physical skill builder, like cornerstone drill that will then get you to the point of obviously, in the end, you're not necessarily tied to single strokes by any stretch. It's just that get off the ground, physical skill builder, solid goal. This is on pretty much everybody's practice plan that I write anyway, because I just think this is such an absolute keystone thing. I think I've hopefully made that point by now. I always think of that moment in the gig when you play your little solo, where they introduce the band and they say, "Now on drums, it's whoever," and you've got to do your little 8 bars or whatever solo. I used to just think about how I used to just hate that moment so much. I realised after a while, even if you've got one of these patterns, right, say that you've got a Bo Diddley, you've always got something to play. Move it around your kit. Maybe once you get a feel for it, take the accents around the kit, keep the unaccented notes on the snare. You can then start to move the bass drum. In this first example here, this first drill, the bass drum's on the beat. You can also play the bass drum going with the accents. I would say do both of those things at first, but in this first drill, accent on the beat, make sure you're solid with that. And that's what I do. I still practice that one on a regular basis. I think it's rock solid. Hope that's helpful. Shout out to David, who was working on that today. Thanks for watching as always. Really appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you do subscribe and you want to get a notification every time I upload a video, which I try to do each day, but not quite, but I'm doing my best to. Please click the little bell icon, and shout out as ever to all the amazing supporters of this channel, not least the channel members like David, who support this channel on an ongoing basis. If that's of interest to you, please check out the link below for doing so. In return, you get a load of stuff, including a complimentary practice plan, which I'll update for you as much as you like as you progress, a complimentary Zoom or face-to-face session, access to future sessions, a whole load of other things, including the notation and the practice along for videos such as this. So right now on the channel members page, I'll now post the notation for this exercise, plus a practice along version for each of these iterations on the one, the E, the and the You also get feedback on your drumming, your questions answered, video responses, ongoing drum support, and you're becoming suggestions for future videos on the channel, and you're becoming an integral part of the channel and helping it grow. If that sounds like it'd be of interest, details above or below. Otherwise, thanks a million for watching. Take your time with this. I can't say it enough times. Number 1, it's always a single stroke roll. It doesn't change in this exercise. Number 2, go slow. The slower, the better at the start. Show your hands and feet the movements. Do not go too fast at first. The fastest way to get good at it is to go slow. It's great. Dave Elich says, doesn't he? Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. That's exactly right. Number 3, maximize the dynamic contrast, especially when you're going slow. A big whip for the accent. A tiny little touch. Cultivate that unaccented quiet note. Thanks a million for watching. Really appreciate it. See you soon.